Good morning, everyone. How are you?
Thanks, Mr. Alberghini. We just got a few bits meandering.
Thank you for inviting me today. I have a story that I'm going to tell you, and I don't think you've heard it. I think your teachers have. And I believe that Mr. Berry's videotaped this one as well, but it's one of my favorites, so I have to tell it. I have many stories. Most of them have to do with being outside, or all of them do, because I love to be outside and I love to explore. And they have to do with animals. I have one about a gigantic bullfrog.
This big?
Humongous, bigger than that. Yep, head was that big. I have one about a raccoon that was biggest raccoon I've ever seen in my life.
This big?
About that big.
I don't think I've heard that one.
I have another one about a seagull. And that's all I'll say. I almost gave away a big part of the story. And I have one about a bear. I have one about a bear trap. That I think you might find pretty interesting. And then I have one about a huge brown trout that I caught one time. So, but today I think I'm going to share with you one of my favorites, and typically classes love this one. So I think I'm going to tell you of my bear trap story today. And I think you're going to like it. So first, my name is Mr. Alberghini, and I'm the Superintendent of Schools for the Mount Mansfield Union School District and the Chittenden East Supervisory Union. And we have 9 schools. One of the schools that I work with is Richmond, and I work a lot with Mr. Berry and the teachers and the staff here to try to provide you with the best education that we can. So I hope we're doing a good job, are we?
Yes.
Yes, okay, wow, now I feel good. Now I'm ready to tell the story. So, any questions about what I do? People ask me, they do ask me a lot, you know, what do? Do you just sit in your office? I try to get out every day in the school and talk with students and meet students and work with teachers. But a lot of my work is with Mr. Berry, and we try to plan and make sure that you have the best education that you can. A lot of times they say, are you Mr. Berry's boss? And I say, yes, I'm Mr. Berry's boss.
Yes, he is.
But I don't have to, he's a very good principal. He's excellent. And you have excellent teachers. So it makes my job pretty easy. I'm lucky, fortunate. So, I am a native Vermonter. And I was born in a place called Derby Line. Now a lot of people say, oh, Derby, or they say Newport. No. Derby Line was incorporated, I think, in 1746. So that's a long time ago. And it's a little town right on the Canadian border. I mean right on the Canadian border. I could throw a stone from my house into Canada. And the border went right through the library where I used to go to once a week. Right through the library. There was a little black line that went right through the middle of the library. If you stepped on one side, you were in Canada. If you stepped on the other, you were in America. Yeah, have you ever heard of that place? Anybody? Yeah, it's been on TV. It's called the Haskell Free Library. Part of it is in Stansted, and part is in Derby Line. So, where I grew up, there were either 3 times as many, twice as many cows in the town as there were people. And we were surrounded by woods. And so, I spent a great deal of my time exploring in the wilderness with my 2 sisters and my friends. I loved nature, I still do. I'm probably the most happy when I'm outside and I'm hiking or I'm exploring. And I just love it. I love animals, I love nature, I love to be outside all the time. If I could be, I would be. But I can't, I have to work, and I love my job too, so that's good. I'm going to tell you a story this morning that took place in, actually this one took place in Derby, because this is where my aunt lived. And my sister and my mother, my 2 sisters, I have 2 sisters, Gina and Debbie, they could not be more opposite. Okay? Debbie Oh my goodness, she followed every rule. She was always nice and polite. Then there was Gina. Gina, she had a mind of her own sometimes. She tried to get me to do things that probably shouldn't, okay? I was the little brother, tagged along with my two sisters wherever they went, probably bugged them, I'm sure I did. But Gina had a way of getting me to do things that sometimes I would say, should I really be doing this? She had a way of getting me sometimes to do things that maybe I should not have done. So, we had a plan that we were going to go to my Aunt Martha's, and there was an old hunting camp that was on their property, and we were going to hike out there in the morning, my two sisters and myself, and we were going to do some exploring. So that's what we did. Got in the car, it was probably 7:30, and we headed off to Aunt Martha's, and got there. I was so excited, because I had not seen this hunting camp. We had hiked around in their woods. Behind their house was, hundreds and hundreds of acres of woods. And, but I had heard about this old hunting camp that was out there that had been abandoned for a long time, and I just wanted to check it out. Also, I was just excited to get into the woods and on this hiking trail. So, we got at my Aunt Martha's, and I said goodbye to my mother and to my Aunt Martha, and we went to the trailhead, and we headed on down the trail. I was looking around. All of a sudden, I hear something in the bushes. I stopped. My sister Gina goes to me. I looked, and over in the corner, this was probably late May, and over in the corner, I saw two fawns just sitting there. Could hardly see them. You know how they have the spots? They were just like this, right in the long grass. And I looked at them, and there they were. I was like, there's our first spot of nature for the day. And we were excited. And then over in the corner, look, and there's the mother. She's just standing there. And so we didn't say too much. We quietly moved on down the path. We took a few steps, and boom, they jumped up, and they were out of there. I couldn't believe how high one of the fawns jumped. Boom, it was probably this high. And I was like, wow, that little, and they can jump that high? They can. I'm telling you, I saw it with my own eyes. So after we saw these fawns and the mother, my sisters and I, we were just so excited. We're like, oh my gosh, do you think we might see a bear? And I said, oh my goodness, if I could see a bear, I would be so happy. Or maybe a couple cubs too. That would be excellent. Climbing a tree or in a tree. So we said, look, we're going to be really quiet, and we're going to head on down the path. So we headed on down the path, and we're looking around. Oh, what a glorious day it was. It was so beautiful. The sun, it was probably 70 degrees. There wasn't a cloud in the sky. It was glorious. And so we were walking down the trail, and we're looking, and we're looking, and we're looking. And all of a sudden, my sister Gina again said, stop. She said, do you see that? And I said, oh, yes, I do. There was this little reflection over beyond a tree. It looked like the sun was coming off a mirror. And I said to myself, that must be the old hunting camp. And it's the reflection of the sun on the roof. Have you ever done that? When you're going by a house that has a shiny metal roof and you can see the sun bouncing off it? Have you ever seen that? Well, next time you go by a silver metal roof, look, and you can see sometimes the reflection of the light off it.
We can do it at our school.
Yes, you can. Yes, you can. Look for that this afternoon, a spot where the sun is coming down. Good job. So, we saw that and we knew it wasn't very far. So we walked through the path, and then we saw it got bigger. The path got bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. It looked like somebody had drove a truck right up there. And all of a sudden, right in front of us, was the old hunting camp. And I looked at it, and I was a little shocked for a minute. Guess what? There's no front door. Somebody had taken the front door off. And the windows, a few of them were broken, and it looked like it was a little bit run down, but still it was pretty interesting. You know what was amazing? That roof looked completely intact. So the roof was good. The metal had held up over all these years. So my sisters and I, we walked down the path, walked into the hunting camp, looked around. Oh my good, you wouldn't have believed what you saw in there. there was a table still, and there was an old sink, and there were chairs, and there were some pictures on the wall. Pictures of people that had been hunting and fishing out there. And one of the pictures somebody had this rainbow trout that was about this big. I was like, wow. I wanted to take the picture, but I said, nope, I'm going to leave this place just the way we found it. And then, as we're walking around looking, my sister's like, wow, this is so cool. On the wall, I saw something. I saw some traps. And they were animal traps, and I'd never seen one before. So I thought to myself, and they were very, 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 very old and rusty. And they looked, sort of, I used the word menacing. Does anybody know what menacing means?
Yeah.
Okay. So, and they looked to me a little ugly and a little scary, and so I looked at them, and I didn't touch them. But what I said to myself is somebody had been trapping out here a long time ago. So we actually sat outside, and we had our lunch. We had brought a picnic lunch, and we sat outside, and we had a really good time. I found that this hunting camp fascinating because there were a lot of old artifacts in there that I didn't anticipate would be there. So we decided, look, there was another path right behind the hunting camp, and we said, we're going to take this, and we're going to go exploring again. I really wanted to see a bear, bad, and I wanted to see some cubs. And so we started walking on down the path. My sister Debbie, she's saying, oh man, that was fun. The hunting camp was so interesting. And my sister Gina was like, yeah, I loved it in there. I wanted to stay. She said, I wanted to take that picture off the wall, but she said, oh, I didn't. And Debbie said, good job, Gina. Boy, that was a very good choice that you made. So we're walking on down the path, and all of a sudden, my sister Gina says, stop, John. Look. And I stopped. And she goes, off the path, I don't know how she spotted it. We used to call her Eagle Eye, because she could spot things that nobody else could spot. And so she said, look at that, John. I looked, and I'd never seen anything like it. Walked up to it. My sister Debbie stayed on the trail. Walked up to it, and there it was. There was this old trap that was in the middle of the woods. And that's what it looked like. It was round like this, and it had a mechanism here that went to here, and it was all rusted, but it was rusted open. And it had these big teeth, like that, like these steel teeth like this.
I know, I was thinking.
So I looked at it, I'd never seen anything like it in my life, not even in a book. And I looked at it, and I was like, whoa! I've never seen anything like it. I was a little afraid, and my hair was a little flutter in the chest. And I looked at it, and I was like, oh my goodness, that is one scary looking thing. And my sister Debbie was on the trail. She's going, what are you guys doing? And my sister Gina yelled out, we found something, get over here. So Gina looks at it, and she gets really close to it. And I said, Gina, don't get near that thing. And she looked at me, and she got closer. And she put her head down there, and she said, woo-hoo, look at this. And I said, Gina, get away from that thing. And she looked at it again, and she got a little closer to it, and she went, I said, don't touch that thing. What if it closes?
Ouch.
And she said, oh, she goes, don't worry about that, John. I know what I'm doing. So there comes Debbie. Now, Debbie is the oldest, and she is a excellent rule follower. And she was always the voice of reason. And she would always give good directions and good advice and good guidance. I appreciate her today very much. She continues to do that. My sister Gina continues to have a mind of her own. And I love her for that as well. So my sister Debbie comes up, she looks at that. She goes, ah! What is that? And my sister Gina says, I think it's a bear trap. She goes, get away from that thing! Don't get near that. And I was about 6 or 7 years old. And she said, John, do not get near that thing. We need to get out of here. And my sister Gina says, whoa, what? What's the big deal? Settle down, Debbie. And she goes over to it, and she looks at it, and again she goes, doo-doo-doo-doo, doo-doo-doo. And my sister goes, Gina, don't do that. John, get over there. So I went over here, and I stood over here, and my sister Debbie said, stay there. Gina, we got to get going. And Gina looks at her, and she says, I don't know, I don't think so. I don't think so. She said, I want to, she says, I'm going to try something.
No.
And Debbie says, no, don't do it. What are you thinking? And she said, I think I'm going to try to jump that bear trap.
No.
Now I'm sitting over here and I'm like, don't do it, Gina. In my head, I didn't say anything. Don't do it. So Gina looks at it, she walks up to it. She goes like this with her foot over it, and she goes like that over it. And I'm looking at it, I'm telling you, this thing is big and it is ugly looking and scary looking. So then she takes a few steps back and she looks at that bear trap and she said, she looks at me and she called me John Boy. This is what she would come. She looked at me and she said, hey John Boy, watch this.
No.
She takes a look at that bear trap and she starts to run. Woohoo! Wow! Cleared it like nothing. Wow! She looks at me and she says, ha ha, John Boy, what do you think? And I said, whoa! I said, good job, Gina. And now my sister Debbie has lost it by now. She's, Gina, don't you dare do that. Somebody's going to get hurt. I'm telling Mom. And Gina ignores her and says, just really ignores her, doesn't even hear anything. And she says, John, watch this. I'll do it again. And Debbie says, Gina, don't encourage him to do anything like this. So Gina takes a look at that baby one more time. She looks at me and she says, watch this, John Boy. Woohoo! Clears it again. Right, second time, clears it. She looks at me and she says, ha ha, John Boy, what do you think of that? And I paused for a minute. I thought, that looked pretty easy. That looked pretty simple. I think I can do this. I didn't say anything, and then, of course, Debbie is now gone, you know, she's way up. Wah! Don't do it! I said, I think I can do it. She said, no! No, John, you cannot do it. I'm going to tell Mom you're going to get in big trouble. You'll be grounded for the rest of your life. You'll be in your room. You're going to be in your room. You're going to be in your, you have to stay in your bed. They won't let you open the windows. Nothing. And I thought, oh boy, that doesn't sound good. And I thought, but, I said, I think I can do this. I think I can.
No. Why do you do it?
So, I had something in the back of my head that said, told me, John, not a good idea. Bad idea, John. Bad idea, John Boy. And I said to Gina, I said, no, Gina, I'm not going to do it. Debbie is freaking out over here. I don't want any trouble with Mom. You're going to get in big trouble. You can get in all the trouble. Ha 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 ha. So, I said, we're heading out of here. And my sister Gina looks at me and she says to me, she says, what are you? Chicken. I didn't like being called a chicken. I looked at her and I said, I'm no chicken, Gina. I've never been a chicken. I never will be a chicken. I'm not afraid of anything. Nothing. Not afraid of anything. Bears, mountain lions, not afraid of anything. She says, then, well, why don't you do it? And my sister Gina says, Debbie's sister Gina, you're gonna get it, Gina. You know you're not supposed to do this. John is just little. He's gonna get hurt, and you're gonna be in big trouble. Mom is gonna get you, and you know it, and you're gonna get in big trouble. So, again, I said, no, I can't. No, Gina, no. Debbie, this is not gonna work for her. I don't want to get in trouble. Let's get going. Come on, Gina. And she stops me again. She says, she looks at me right behind. She says, what are you, John Boy? Chicken. I looked at her one more time. I said, I'm not a chicken. I'm going to show you I'm no chicken. I've never been a chicken, and I will never be a chicken. I said, I'm going to do it. Well, Debbie screamed, lets out a yelp like I've never heard, and she says, I'm running back, and I'm going to get Mom. John, don't do it. And Gina, you're in big trouble. So Debbie takes up off the trail. Like that. And Gina looks at me and she says, okay, John Boy, let's see what you got.
No. Why'd you do it?
So I looked at that bear trap, and I need to tell you this.
Why'd you do it?
My heart was pumping like this. Have you ever been nervous like that?
Yeah.
But my knees,
Yeah.
they get weak, don't they? Yeah.
Mine as well.
And you feel a little dizzy, and you're like, whoa.
And sometimes, like, after you do it, they still feel like.
Exactly. That's exactly the way I felt. My heart, knees, really shaky, a little bit. Breath.
That's
So-
like the first time I went tubing.
So I looked at Gina, and she said, I said, I don't think I can do it. And she looked at me, and she said, okay, chicken. And I said, that's it. I'm going for it, Gina. So I looked at that bear trap, and I took a couple more steps back. And I looked and I said, I can do this. Like I told you folks, my heart, knees, breath, trying to catch breath, very nervous, very scared. Looked at that bear trap, looked at Gina, she's over here like this, you can do it, John. I looked at that bear trap, and I took a couple more steps back. I said, I can do this. And I took a run and started, fell right on the bear trap. I let out a yelp. As soon as I got up, I was able to get up off the ground. My sister Gina looked at me. I had some blood running down my leg. My sister Gina looked at me and she goes, she takes off. She starts running down the trail. I don't know where she's going. I'm 5, 6, 7 years old, bleeding, can hardly walk, and I'm out there in the middle of nowhere. So, I had to start thinking clearly. I said, I'm okay. I'm in a lot of pain shooting in my leg, but I said, I've got to walk back, and I've got to get back to Aunt Martha's, and I have got to get to my mother. I wanted my mother. So I started walking back like this. And it really hurt. And I'm walking back. And at one point I stopped. The pain was excruciating. I said, I gotta do it. I gotta make it back. And I could see up a little ways a tree that I recognized, and I said, okay, I'm gonna make it to that tree. And I made it to that tree, and then I could see the opening to the field where Aunt Martha's house is. And my sister Debbie, she saw me coming, and she ran down, and she looked at me, and she goes, ah! And she starts running up to the house, and she says, Mom! John's bleeding! So my mother flies out of Aunt Martha's house. Ah! John's hurt! And I'm at the front of the field, an opening where they used to drive a tractor in and out. And I see my mother, I'm like, oh, there's Harriet, there's Mom. She's coming to save me. So I'm standing there and I'm starting to feel a little bit better. Still the shooting pain in my leg. My mother, she gets about from here, from me to you away, and she looks down at my leg and she looks at it and she goes, ah! She faints! Completely out. I'm standing there, leg bleeding, shooting pain in the leg. My mother has fainted on the ground, and I'm thinking, what am I going to do? I said, I think I need to get to a doctor. And all of a sudden, Aunt Martha comes out of the house. She's not waving her arms. She's running down. John, are you all right? And I said, I think so. So Aunt Martha came. She got me, picked me up, put me in the car, brought me to the old Newport Hospital. I say the old Newport Hospital because there's a new Newport Hospital now. Not in the same place. 18 stitches later, I was released. And I also got a huge ice cream cone. This big, which I do remember. 18 stitches later, leg all patched up. They released me on the same day. Went back. Actually, my mother had recovered and picked me up at the hospital, and we went home.
What happened?
Well, that is one good question. Gina was grounded, not for life, but for 2 weeks.
Come on.
They did let her open the windows, and she got all 3 meals a day.
5 months.
But 2 months, 2 weeks, sorry. 2 weeks she was grounded, which is a long time. And I was also, I was grounded for a week for not using my head, because I should not have listened to Gina, and I shouldn't be doing things that are dangerous. Now there's a moral to this story. There's probably several. Can anybody think of a moral here to the story? Yes.
Never listen to Gina.
You are brilliant. That is right on the money. Do not listen to Gina, and don't listen to what else? Yes. You got there, absolutely excellent. That is absolutely right. Think before you jump, and if somebody says something and you're not comfortable with it, what should you do? Don't do it. Get out of there. Good. Yes.
Don't jump a bear trap.
Don't ever jump a bear trap. Ever, 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 ever. Yes.
How big was the cut?
I'll show you my scar. Yes.
Do we have a secret?
I will come back and tell you the seagull story. That's one of my favorites. That is an extreme adventure that includes danger, a wild Frenchman named Louis Joyal, a handcrafted canoe, and Lake Memphremagog. Yes.
How big was the bear trap?
It was about this big. It was big. Yep. Yes.
What was that?
Don't ever do that.
No matter what situation you're in or what.
You got it. That's right. Yes. Wait just a sec. I'll get one more. Yes.
Was your mouth full of blood?
Yes, she did not. Anytime we got hurt, cut, she could not. Was not something that she handled. Did you like that story?
Yeah!
Would you like to hear another one?
Yeah!
All right, I will be back. The seagull story. Ooh, that's a good one. Thank you. You're a great audience.
Okay, go ahead. What did you think of that story?
That was really tense.
Why was it so intense?
Because when he said the bear trap story and when it said they were in an old camping spot, I didn't know what was going to happen. Were they going to step in it somehow? It was so intense.
So was that a good story?
Yeah.